Flying the friendly skies for a parent with a young child can feel like anything but. For some, it may also be downright terrifying, particularly if you have to deal with passengers who shame you when your baby starts crying. Celebrity parents are not exempt from the occasional ire of fellow passengers when their baby decides they suddenly want off the plane. The Big Bang Theory star Kaley Cuoco recently appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live and shared her harrowing experience of dealing with an unsympathetic passenger while taking her first flight with her infant daughter. Cuoco, 38, explained that her 9-month-old daughter, Matilda, whom she shares with her partner, actor Tom Pelphrey, 41, can only sleep with a sound machine on. When Matilda started having a rough time on the flight, Cuoco, like any other desperate parent on a plane, took out the one sure thing that she knew would get her daughter to stop crying, her sound machine. How anyone was able to hear the sound machine over the roar of the plane's engines is remarkable, but that or the combination of the two worked. Cuoco told Kimmel that her daughter immediately stopped crying and fell asleep in Pelphrey's arms. Just as she was able to sit back and breathe for a moment, the steward delivered some disheartening news. He comes over and says, "Hey, one of our passengers would love it if you turn the sound machine off." Cuoco told Kimmel, as the audience laughed. "And I can feel Tom be like, hey. Ask the passenger if she wants to hold our screaming child when we turn it off." I mean, the ice went into his veins. I couldn't believe, by the way, she asked us to turn it off. It turned out, the passenger who complained was the woman seated right in front of Cuoco. As if the complaint wasn't bad enough, the woman decided to double down on her lack of compassion, telling the actress as they deboarded the plane, "Oh, so your daughter doesn't know how to smile." Sure, some may argue that the passenger had every right to complain because they paid good money for a seat on the plane. But that argument falls flat when it comes to babies and their behavior on airplanes. Also, it's public transportation, not a private jet or your living room. The shame a parent already feels while flying with a small child, be it an infant or a squirmy 3-year-old who wants to run up and down the aisle, is something no one would voluntarily choose to bear. Any noise the baby makes reflects directly on you, and the judgment is immediately cast on you when other passengers see you board the plane carrying a baby. You can almost hear their thoughts, "Oh great, a baby is on the flight," or "Ugh, I hope that baby isn't sitting next to me." It's not fun for parents. And I know that firsthand. My husband and I boarded a 3-hour flight from New Jersey to Palm Beach, Florida, when my youngest was 9 months old and my oldest was 4. We were visiting my mom, who was by herself and was gearing up to sell her home after my father had passed away. For a moment, I thought about leaving my little one at home with a babysitter or another family member. But to deny my mom of seeing her youngest grandchild when she probably needed it the most, because I was too afraid of public opinion on an airplane. It's a completely unrealistic expectation. We packed carry-ons filled with items that could tackle any possible scenario that would stop my infant son from turning into a howler monkey, and inflicting shame on me for daring to visit my mother in a different state with a baby in tow. But it was my 4-year-old who ended up vomiting all over himself from the major turbulence we experienced on the flight home. We forgot to pack him an extra set of clothes in the carry-on. The little one slept through the whole flight. That's the thing with parenting, you can always expect the unexpected. As we deplaned, the woman sitting in the row in front of us said, "Wow, I didn't even know there were kids sitting behind us." They were so good, a vastly different experience than Cuoco's. At the time, I felt relieved that I had passed some sort of airplane parent vibe check because my infant son didn't scream or fuss. But then I wondered, what if he had? What if nothing we brought with us would have soothed him? What if he needed his sound machine just like Matilda needed to soothe herself? As a parent flying with an infant, you try to think of everything you can and use everything in your parental arsenal to keep your baby happy. Sometimes that means turning on a sound machine on an airplane, which is a much more pleasant sound than a screaming and uncomfortable baby. Dealing with shaming from other passengers when you're trying to make your child comfortable just makes the experience worse.